You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftakademy.com. www.netsoftakademy.com.
Welcome back. In this video, we will explore how to use the Azure Portal as well as the CLI environment, which you will use to manage your Azure ecosystem. Whether you are a beginner clicking around in Azure Portal or you are an automation professional using CLI and just PowerShell, Azure always have a tool for every task. So let's explore what's available and when to use each kind of tool. Now let's start with the most familiar interface, that is Azure Portal, which you already saw. So how can we define it? Well, this is just a web-based dashboard that lets you interact with Azure services visually. You can deploy resources, monitor usage here, you can view the cost, usage. You can also check the insight and performance of your environment, and you can also configure security posture of your whole ecosystem, all from your browser. It's ideal for beginners and even advanced users who wants to manage resources without writing scripts. Well, next up then is Azure CLI and Azure PowerShell environment. Well, these are command line tools that let you manage Azure resources using scripts or commands. This is super useful for automation, repeated tasks, or even working in a DevOps environment. Well, you should use Azure CLI if you are comfortable with Bash or terminal-style commands, because you need to make sure that in CLI as well as PowerShell, your syntax must be spot on. Well, on the other hand, when you will use PowerShell? Well, you will use PowerShell if you are familiar with the Windows environment and scripting. So CLI for Bash and terminal-style commands, PowerShell for Windows environment and scripting. Well, you can do nearly anything from that CLI environment that you want to do on your Azure ecosystem. Everything is possible. And CLI is is actually faster than using a portal. But let's say you just want to deploy one machine, or you may want to do a random task. In that case, going to the portal will make more sense. Now, when you want to use CLI or PowerShell from your own laptop, well, you need to install the Azure module. So yes, there is some prep required. But what if you want to use CLI or PowerShell without installing anything? In that case, you can try using Azure Cloud Shell, a service by Azure. Now, it is a browser-based shell built right onto your Azure portal. You just have to click on the top terminal icon. You will find it on top of your portal. And a Cloud Shell will open, which supports both CLI as well as PowerShell. And it includes all the pre-installed tools like Git, Terraform, and more. It even provides free storage, so your scripts and files are saved between your sessions. So it actually provides you the complete environment. Well, what if you want to manage your cloud on the go? Yes, there is actually an Azure mobile application for that. From that application, you can monitor your resources. You can start or stop your virtual machines. You can view alerts. You can also push scripts in Cloud Shell. This application is available on both iOS as well as Android platform, and it is surprisingly very powerful for quick checks or fixes when you're away from your desk. But remember, this application will not give you the full-fledged functionality to control your environment. The usability is quite limited. It is just when you want to keep a check on your environment when you're on the go. Otherwise, you have to log into your portal if you want to do some serious work. Now, let's touch briefly on something called ARM templates. When we talk about your scripting, in that place, the templates will come in. Here, the ARM templates means Azure Resource Manager template, ARM template. These are JSON files, that is JavaScript object notation files, that defines your infrastructure as code, IAC. Well, that means you can automate the deployment of entire environment, including your VMs, network, storage, all in just one push of that script. Here you define the configuration properly once, save it, and then reuse it again and again, making deployments more consistent and scalable because there is no chance of human errors. Well, if you want to go even further, there is also something called Bicep, B-I-C-E-P, a similar language that works on top of ARM. Let's do a quick demo and see how we can use PowerShell, CLI, and your portal environment to actually create a resource. All right, now let's see how you can create resources, but using multiple tools. The first one is your Azure Portal itself. So let's say you want to create a resource group. Well, with a GUI interface, it is pretty easy. You just click on Create, you select your subscription, you give your resource group a name, let's say Demo, and just create it. Done. But what if you want to use CLI interface? Maybe you want to create multiple resources and you want to repeat it. Maybe you want to go for the path of infrastructure as a code. In that case, you can click on this terminal button on top, that is Cloud Shell, and it will initiate your Cloud Shell environment for you. Just give it some time. And the nice thing about this is that it automatically authenticates you so that you can just start creating your environment. All right, it's connecting. All right, almost there. And here we go. As you can see, my subscription is there. I am authenticated and I can start creating my resource. So let's quickly create another resource group. So I can just write AZ group create name demo02 location Canada Central. And let's hit enter. All right, so you have a new resource group now called demo02. You can always go to resource group and check. Here we go. A resource group is created. Now this is your bash environment. But what if you want to use PowerShell environment? Well, you can switch to PowerShell on top. Confirm. Now it will take some time to switch to PowerShell and then authenticate you. All right, so we are in. So I do have many subscriptions. Let me change it to my subscription as well. So I changed it to my subscription. So this command is just to get into my subscription so that it is valid. But you have to focus on this command, that is AZ group create name demo03 location Canada Central, and it is created. So if you go back to your Azure resource group, you may not see it, then refresh the page and then it will pop up. That's the second method to create your resources using PowerShell on your Cloud Shell environment. But what about your own command prompt on your laptop or your PowerShell? Well, you can also use that. And for that, I will open a new virtual environment because my laptop already have all the right modules installed. I will show you from the scratch. So I'm just opening a virtual environment for this demo. Now, this is just a Windows 11 PC. Then I will go to PowerShell. All right. Now, if I type AZ login and hit enter, let's see what happens. Oh, I get the error that this term AZ is not recognized. And you will get the same thing in your CLI environment as well. If you say AD connect, you will get the error that the CLI do not even recognize this command. And that is true, because this PowerShell don't even know what cloud or what Azure is. You have to install the module in it first. So it will be install module, name AZ, scope, current user, repository, PS gallery, and force. This is from your Microsoft official gallery. So the module will be downloaded and installed on your PowerShell. I will say yes. It will take some time to install it. And after that, you can just use your PowerShell as if you were using on Azure Cloud. All right, so it is now installing your packages. All right, as you can see, it is installing different packages. And it will install all the packages. And then when you will use your Azure related commands, your PowerShell will know what command you want to use and how to send it to the ARM, that is Azure Resource Manager, and your resources will be created. All right, so that wraps up this video. Make sure to practice on your own time and start using PowerShell and CLI. Be very familiar with it, because using Portal is quite easy compared to PowerShell and CLI, and a lot of people are actually biased towards using Portal. But remember, when you want to automate your environment and you want to do it fast, PowerShell and CLI environment, that is your command line environment, will help you more. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video then. Subscribe to this channel and hit that notification button. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.